Oh, oh, I really don't like that. Sorry. What? Hello and welcome to Will Watches. This is Beau is Afraid. I'm very excited for this. I love Ari Aster's other films, Midsummer and Hereditary, and it's big coming from me considering how much I didn't like horror films when they came out. I saw Midsummer 4 times in the cinemas, and that was the first time I'd ever actually gone to the cinema to see a horror film. I really love his work, and I know this isn't as horror focused. There may be some elements. This is more kind of psychological, a deep dive into this character Beau and his personal life, his problems, played by the amazing Joaquin Phoenix. I'm really excited for this. I'm expecting it to be a bit strange, a bit out there. I have heard mixed reviews, but because I'm expecting kind of the weirdness and the strangeness, I think it will gel with me. So before we jump into this, be sure to check out the Patreon page. Over there you can find early access, you can find polls so you can vote for what's next, and you can find a full-length timer-based version of this where you just sync up your own footage and you can watch along with me. So yeah, let's just jump right in. Ooh, okay. I could hear like screaming. Are we sure this isn't a horror? I do know this is very much about Beau's mummy issues. Is this like some traumatic event that started everything? Oh, we're getting his birth. He always dropped as a kid. Okay, yeah. Dropped on his head right out the womb. You made me have him. Okay. So mum didn't want him even from the start. Yeah, we're getting his whole life through this then. Birth to death. I know we get the kid version of him sometimes as well. Not gonna answer it. Okay. Is it a doctor or a psychiatrist he's talking to?
The day he died.
How you feeling about that?
Yeah, his therapy session.
Several months.
Are you feeling guilty about that?
Oh, not visiting enough? Oh, look at that handwriting.
Do you ever wish that she was dead?
What? Of course not.
What happened to his dad as well? Because obviously was his dad there for the birth? It was his dad who dropped him. But then he said he never knew his dad, so his dad died shortly after. Or went away shortly after.
Always with water. Always. And if your breathing changes or you feel warm, call me immediately.
I know there is that like fake brand that they built for this, the MW or WM. Oh yeah, there it is in the background. Oh, so we're gonna jump.
Excuse me, what is that man doing?
We're trying to get him to jump.
There's so much going on outside. This world is just like chaos. What's the setting supposed to be here? Is it New York? Is that Beau there running in? Trying to get past that guy. You know, at first I was thinking, you know, there's that stereotype of New York and it's like there's so many people there, there's so many crazy things happening, you just kind of ignore it. But this is like a hyper exaggerated version of that. Very fictionalized. I don't know if it's even supposed to be New York, but kind of the big American city where there's loads of homeless people, loads of people on drugs, loads of people with problems, not getting help. And you just kind of have to go about your every regular day, going past them. Okay. Oh, and it's right there. Chekhov's spider. Yeah, everything's MW. MW food in his MW microwave.
Hey, Dad.
Oh, blurry. You can't even see his dad's face. So we have this MW everywhere. I know this is like big on his mummy issues, but I'm imagining there's some corporate capitalism commentary here with that as well. Perfectly safe for men. Yeah, it's so like ominous and eerie. He's saying, I'm sorry twice for the dad's death. Does he blame himself, or is it somehow his fault for it? Love interest or an old photo of his mum? Yeah, mother and child, the symbolism there as well. Is he still kind of like stuck in a childlike mentality? Okay. Oh, a note. I thought it was someone trying to break in or someone sniffing about, scouting out the area. Gotta be careful because the spider's still in his apartment too, isn't it? Was that door kind of oversized? I can imagine that'd be something they want to do, like have things slightly off, the door slightly over exaggerated size wise. Oh no, it looks pretty normal actually. Just they could do things like that just to make you feel like comfortable, little things that are barely unnoticeable. I'm just wondering also like how much of this is in his head. Is he just living in a world less normal? Oh, he's missing his alarm because he plugged his ears. Is he just living in a world that is normal, but in his head everything is this hyper exaggerated reality? Okay, so what time? Focusing on, yeah, really focusing on those keys. That punching. Yeah, who's stolen them? Oh, all of the notes are there suddenly. And his suitcase is gone.
I'm one of your tenants. I need a locksmith. I'm late for the airport. Hello?
Yeah, it's like the whole world's out to get him. Oh, Len having to cancel on his mum. It's gonna backfire.
It's in an hour.
I know, but Mom, my key got stolen out of my door.
And his bag was stolen as well, to say that too.
Mom?
Yeah, is she gonna suddenly flip here now?
Okay, sweetheart, I understand.
Wait, what's okay? No, it's not. What do you understand?
No, of course it isn't. Your keys are stolen. That's terrible.
Yeah, is he gonna... I do know, like, the main premise of this, I saw Ari Aster, he compared this to The Lord of the Rings, how it's one big journey, it's him trying to get to his mum, isn't it? This is just the start. So he's got to go it anyway. But you can't, you know, just, what, leave with your apartment unlocked? What are you going to do?
Wait, it doesn't sound safe. It's not safe, is it?
Oh.
Look at this with the blur coming in now. Oh. Oh, okay. That's just him envisioning that happening. And what was with that guy earlier chasing him to the front door of the apartment? Always with water. Always with water. Yeah.
Help me! Help me! Help me! Help me! Help me! Help me!
But then once you're actually in the buildings, it's all fine. See, is that all just like symbolism for anxiety, for he's safe in his apartment, he's safe in places that he knows, but when it's out in the big world like that, it's just too much.
What? No, it's not. Can you try again, please?
Yeah, I saw that guy walking up, someone's walking in.
No, look, I'm paying.
Oh, everyone's going in. Yeah, okay, it's the whole street. Oh, looking him out. Has that forced him on his journey to his mum then? Can't go back into his apartment anyway. But it's made the streets more safe, actually. Oh? Shifting into night. Has he just been standing there frozen that long?
Hello?
Oh, is he dead? Big mark on his neck. Oh, the spider, right? That looks similar to the mark that the spider has. It's actually quite a big apartment, you know, quite a big living room there, big tall, high ceilings. The state of it isn't that great anymore, but with a bit of work it would have been nice. Hopefully there's some stuff still about, like his medication and stuff, maybe. Oh, it still works, wow.
Hi, you've reached Mona. Leave me a message if you ever want to speak to me again.
If you ever want to speak to me again.
This is your mom's number?
Yeah, it is. Who's this?
Mum's got a man?
I don't know whose phone this is. I just called the police. They're already on their way.
What? Something's happened with her?
I only came in because of the smell and the dogs on the block were all going crazy and the doors open. So
Oh, she's already dead. The dog's going crazy and the smell.
well, the body of a lady, and there's no face or head.
Decapitated. Wow.
I'm sorry, you don't make any sense.
I mean, it might not be his mum, but most likely.
On top of it, and it looks like it dropped off the ceiling and it fell on a woman.
Okay, so it was an accident. I was wondering if it was like, it was her who did it to herself because he's not coming and then he'd blame himself.
Do I have your permission to check her purse for some ID?
You just wait for the police to get there. Don't tamper with the scene, you know. You don't want your fingerprints over everything.
Mona Wasserman, is that your mom?
So I thought it'd be he needs to go visit her, but is it him going there to get to her funeral in time and things like that? Or just get to see her to make sure it's actually her? Oh yeah, because the bath. How long has it been? There's not that big a jump. I thought his face looked slightly different, but yeah, it is still Joaquin there.
Please leave a message and I'll return your call as soon as I'm able. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, these like subtle things in the voicemails. Yeah, I did see that leaking from above. What? I thought that was the guy from earlier who said just screwed the janitor, but that's not, is it? Get out the way so he can drop into the bath. Oh. Oh, and the spider's mixed in between them now. Hoping the spider just got squashed in between them, you know. Oh, and the glass. And now he looks like one of the crazies in the street too. They might mistake him for that murderer guy.
If I'm not another night, freeze! Drop the weapon, drop it!
Is there something with his shoulder there? It's like this big lump on his shoulder. I don't know if that's just... Oh! If that's just Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, is there... Okay, I thought I did notice it when he got into the bath. They're doing something weird with his body, where they're exaggerating certain body parts. When he got into the bath, and then just there, in that moment, there was an exaggerated sack. That's how I would describe it. Teenage girl's room, or the K-pop. I was thinking, like, from this point on, is everything just in the afterlife or something? I don't know.
There was an accident, yes. Oh, goodness. I hit you with my car.
Oh, she was the one who hit him. Okay. So she feels responsible for it.
You're a lucky man.
Oh, okay.
That's my little assistant health monitor. Keeps track of your condition.
And location. Oh, okay. Lost a son in the army. They don't want Beau to fill that void. Is that his role in this? Yeah, that was actually their son's bedroom.
Time for dessert already? Here you go.
Oh, is this, this company just got everyone on pills?
Tony's happy to give you her room.
Yeah, no, it's not like we have a totally empty room available.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Nate would have had a room, but they keep it as it was, of course.
My mom made me memorize it.
Hi, Jeeves.
Yeah, just so many weird things and off things.
With a
first person notified. It's taken 3 days for anyone to hear from you.
Yeah, he's been in a coma for 2 days. You can't blame him.
What happened?
So Jeeves is just like, does he still think he's in the war? He was like tactically crawling and things.
It was your mother's unfortunate wish that she not be buried without you present.
Oh, okay.
Waiting, Beau.
He's got to get there ASAP.
Be here, Beau. Dressed in a suit.
And there's like guilt on him now for not being there on time.
You also need to get some serious rest, my brother.
And some support.
My brother. That was so random in there. Oh yeah, the classic pajamas.
Sorry, I was just going to the bathroom.
She's just relegated to the sofa. Oh, because he's like mentally unwell, she can take advantage of him and use that to get Beau out. Is that what she's doing?
Water skiing? Oh, well, yes, no, of course. Tell them to rush him.
Nate's mug. Yeah, it's such a Nate replacement. Something's going on here with Roger.
Carl Oberst split his head open. One of my oldest patients.
Oh, well, I can't miss work today. It's all hands on deck.
So he's stuck here even longer.
I have to leave the lady, my mother.
He still needs to rest though. It's still not good enough.
Won't be an imposition. It'll be my pleasure. Okay.
But it's the delay, the humiliation on everyone else waiting.
This is your decision.
Thanks, pal. You're a trooper. Curveball,
Okay.
I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Oh, there wasn't anything ominous at the end there. That wasn't Jeeves out there. That was someone else.
All we know at the moment is that Mona Wasserman was found dead in the living room of her magnificent home.
So she lives in all that luxury and he's just in his awful apartment.
Admired by her friends and feared by her competitors, Mona Wasserman...
Oh, MW, Mona Wasserman. MW is the brand that's all about. She was CEO of this huge corporation that's everywhere. Oh.
I'm taking you home.
Oh, she's taking him.
Wait, what is in that? Can you die from this? What?
Oh, everything's going dark around him. Yeah, he's having a bad trip.
The car's getting smaller.
Even the subtitle was delayed there. I don't know if that was on purpose or not.
I'm Beau.
I'm Elaine.
Are you here with your mother?
Is this who he recognized?
Good. You're already in your PJs. Well, we're hot on your tail.
His voice is so iconic, isn't it?
Are you a virgin?
It's genetic. My father died.
Suck this off.
What?
Tomorrow?
Ooh. Yeah, just go for everything. Go through so much. And Jeeves again.
Are you doing this? What is this?
Will you wait for me?
Oh yeah, Elaine was the Polaroid he had, yeah. Oh my god, yeah, the needles in his back. They've tried to sedate him.
It's okay, Beau. He doesn't know what he's doing. It's all under control.
Tony said that he was the one.
Shoot him in the jungle. They found him running around shooting.
Like the one who killed Nathan or something.
I have to tell you.
Papers. You mind coming out here for a sec?
Oh yeah, there's something she needs to tell him, but he's never quite getting it.
Channel 78.
Okay. Yeah, so that must have been Elaine he saw on the news when he was looking up his mum. They just saw it in the reflection. Yeah, he's seen himself. This camera's all about. Yeah, so I'm imagining it must have been Elaine that he saw on the news, but that means that his mum had hired Elaine? Did she know that that was the same Elaine as back then? I was wondering if it'd pause it and it'd pause himself or something, you know? Or he's going to see into the future? Would that happen? He needs to do something to change it.
What? Wait, what?
Oh, is she writing Beau?
You'll just get fucked up with me.
I'm supposed to be leaving.
So you'll be fucked up.
She's just bringing him down with her.
Tony, please.
Don't call me Tony!
I'm sorry if that was your name.
You first.
Drinking paint.
I'll post them. I'll say what you did. What?
I mean, nothing in the videos is incriminating, is it? Gracie must know everything that's happening here. Oh, I really don't like that. Oh my god, she actually dead. Oh, the eyes.
Come on, baby.
Oh, then Jeeves as well. What's Jeeves gonna do? Oh. It's focused much more on this family with Gracie and Roger and everyone and Tony than I thought it would.
Rip him apart!
Yeah, and Jeeves is fully after him now. He's got permission. We did see some of the future, what's going to happen. Is he being captured again? Yeah, was some of that like a reference to Hereditary? You know, she was like, oh, a demon taking over my son. She's seen Hereditary, she thinks Pyman's taking over. Okay. So he's fine in the woods. I thought he'd be knocked out and then they'd come and get him.
Hello? I'm sorry, I'm lost.
Who is it? Is it supposed to be someone? You're like a little forest community. Are they all English as well? Because I noticed her accent. Kind of jarring, all American, then little English forest lady. Oh. Wasn't that guy looking at him from the forest at one point? That guy's following him? Yeah, it's all like... Is it like a theatre production or something? They're all... I saw people, it looked like they were doing like an acting, you know, like one of those practice exercises.
Or might they both lead home, where I can take my right.
And I know some of this, you know, the aesthetic here has been very normal, up until, I do know, like from trailers and promo stuff, there is stuff where the aesthetic becomes almost like a play.
As great trumpets speak.
Is that all in his head and him seeing this has influenced that, you know? Oh, Jeeves still hunting him down, yeah. Oh yeah, the tracker around his ankle, of course.
With my mother and father gone, I have lost my old self.
Everything's relatable. Oh, transitioning into winter, that's cool.
You grieve well. Your parents are honored forever.
The little hand at the side holding her up.
Rise.
See, is that maybe supposed to represent Grace or something? Gracie, and then this angel will turn on him?
Now, go forth.
Or is it giving him the inspiration to go, finally get home?
Do I venture forth or stay here?
He's got to get a move on soon because Jeeves is coming.
What?
Something's holding him back. Okay. What's holding Beau back? Yeah, of course. He sees himself there.
Hundreds will become thousands.
Oh, that was cool. The sketchy eagle. I wonder how they shot all of this as well. Was it all one big set that was constantly moving like that?
You will learn a trade. And eventually earn a living.
I feel like I recognize this voice.
And your pain. And your dreams. And your potential.
Yeah, I love the animation.
In finding your...
Seeing the red hair, is it somehow related to his mum, you know? Bit Freudian. So is this him seeing his dream life, maybe?
And destroy your home.
Okay. Okay, so maybe not so much of a dream life. Oh, that's really cool. The splashes. Yeah, the water ripples, how it's animated and reflecting on him.
A man deranged by tragedy will identify you as the beast who burned down his home.
See, is some of this reflecting his own journey so far? Is that the story started like at this point? No. But he didn't have a family that we know of before now. But that could all be symbolic, you know.
Mad with vengeance, they will send an attack dog.
Attack dog, there's Jeeves.
Will collapse in exhaustion.
Yeah, I saw all the eyes on the trees and then they started blinking.
Why are you crying?
Oh, and there's old man Beau. Is that predicting the rest of the film? What's gonna happen?
Oh, what did I do?
You know. Confess.
What did he do? Is there something we're missing out on that he's done that he needs to confess to? Obviously the whole thing with Tony, that wasn't actually his fault, but is there anything? Or just him feeling guilty for being a coward his whole life, never messaging his mum, never phoning his mum, not visiting her enough?
Despite your hunger, you will decide to spend your last dollar on this.
Oh yeah, instead of the food. Is it his sons doing the play?
But just by breathing in the air, he was seized by the absolute certainty.
And it's gone full circle, he's back in the crowd.
Somehow he too felt recognized.
Is this all some sort of hypnotization by the forest people to indoctrinate him in this? Like he's finally home. That's what he's seeing here. He's finally home.
Young men on the stage who looked remarkably like himself.
This is me.
Yeah, they did say they're trying to incorporate the audience in with the play.
Oh, my loves. My loves. Oh, my darlings.
He doesn't even know them by name.
Grandfather.
Do we know if the grandfather died or did he just go off?
He died on our wedding night. The same night you were conceived.
Okay. So it wasn't him who dropped him.
The very instant you were conceived. He had a heart murmur. Just like you.
Oh, and that's why he said it's genetic. When he was asked by Elaine if he was a virgin, yeah. And that explains the exaggerated proportions.
Your grandpa and your great-grandpa died the same way.
It almost feels like passing on a spirit because they die and then a new son is born each time.
Is that a lie?
Yeah, did those three all have it as well then? Well, he had kids and he's still alive, so... Yeah, how does that story work then? How do you have triplets?
And how did you have us?
It's all falling apart. Yeah, I hear the music. Are they not actually his kids? Or did he adopt them and then his actual... now he's back into the real world, or as real as this world is. Handing it over. Okay. He's letting go. Is that what that's symbolizing?
Your father is alive.
I was thinking, is that his father or his grandfather or something?
Serving your dad food. Cleaning up after him.
Okay. So there's something more going on. Is it not true at all, the whole heart murmur thing?
I'm so happy to see you.
Can he take him to his dad?
Are you him? Wait.
Yeah, that could even be him himself, couldn't it? Why'd the mum keep that a secret, though?
Hello, fair stranger.
Yeah, gotta be Jeeves.
Now you see, out of the shadow.
Yeah, expecting that. I thought it might have been a gunshot.
Dad, run!
Ooh. Yeah, was that actually his dad? Who knows? He's got everything, all his tactical gear. Ooh. Taking Jeeves himself out though. Ah. Well, at least Jeeves is gone, so it's a little safer.
Okay, let's go. Close off.
Come on. Enough now.
Okay, I thought I was seeing Elaine there for a second. Yeah, this is what we saw with the bath.
You want Daddy too?
A sibling?
You're big enough to hurt Mommy. You're big enough for this.
Okay, so he had another sibling who was locked in the attic.
We don't talk about you anymore. Get back in.
Were they twins, or was that an older sibling? The child actor looked older than the one for Beau, and that would mean she's had 2 kids, 2 separate conceptions, and the dad survived one of them. That guy really drove him 6 hours. What a journey just for a hitchhiker. I'm surprised he's actually got here now. There's still like another hour of the film left. They're not going to go into the attic and find the brother. And there's the possibility of finding the father now as well, if that wasn't him at the camp there. At the play.
Funeral already happening? Already over. There's a video inside.
Oh, they actually did it without him. Oh, it's almost the exact same, isn't it?
Just as their life together was blossoming.
Is that the janitor from before who said you're screwed?
With a love that could move mountains. In fact, I suggest when we leave, we check on the mountains to make sure they're okay.
I'm wondering who's giving this speech. Oh, from the chandelier, yeah. Already having it set out for Beau, that's a bit ominous. On display, yeah. Surely, usually it's closed casket, right?
What could you say?
Oh, that shot, yeah. The one they showed earlier. That was as far as he fast forwarded it, so everything from now is new. That was him on the phone finding out, yeah. We've never actually seen any photos of the father.
I wonder why.
If there's any there, it might clue us in. Oh, he was on all the ads as a kid too. Allergy relief, that's what I need. Even the font there, the font looks like that. Oh, what's the razor blade company? It's just slipping my mind. That's like the exact font they use. And it allows all the employees. Is Elaine there too? Oh, Roger. And was that the tattooed guy that died in his apartment?
I'll be leaving then. I just need to call another Uber. They can wait, please. I'm sorry again.
Not gonna say anything? Oh, he's just in shock a bit, isn't he?
It's me.
I thought he would say maybe I waited for you. Because that was the whole thing. Wait for me, wasn't it?
Oh my god.
Okay, so she does actually remember.
I can't believe it's you. Oh my god.
I thought there was like a hint of sarcasm in there, but maybe not.
Well, you're the same too, except for your body and your face.
Yeah, he does kind of act the same.
I did until last week.
So there was like all of that time they could have got to know each other. How long was she working at the company?
I waited for you. Come with you.
I wanted you to.
Okay, I was thinking like, could she have found that creepy after all of this time, you know?
Do you want to go inside?
Beau's got to be careful though.
Bedroom. Where?
Yeah. He's come inside, but... Sorry. He's come inside, but he doesn't want to come inside.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Yeah, he knows he can't. Or is he willing to give it all up?
You didn't get undressed.
Yep.
Also a bit embarrassed about his body, all the cuts and stuff over him.
Oh, oh, no! Ow! 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 Ow!
Is he gonna survive? Make it through this?
God, I was alive. Just blasted through that.
But he's still alive, he's okay.
Oh my God!
That means his dad is alive. What's she thinking of this? Oh? But she died. What? He's still got the blue paint on his bandage. What happened to her then? It's the other way round. That mirrors his mum. You know, she said, he died on top of me. Yeah, it wasn't cutting back to her. I thought she was just like a bit weirded out by what he was saying. Her body, it was so like, and so it still is so like oddly stiff.
What would be next? No?
She's alive? What? I mean, yeah, we never saw the head. The body was never perfectly identified. Can we get everything revealed finally? What about the father? It was like she knew that was going to happen as well. Is this all planned out? Somewhat planned out?
Get rid of this. Feed Harry.
Okay, and there's maids and things that are still in the know that she's alive. Feed Harry. They're not taking her body somewhere to feed someone. Is Harry his brother who was locked in the attic? And why would she need to fake her own death? Yeah, there was that little bit of doubt since the start with finding the body, the guy on the phone. You weren't 100% sure if it was.
You don't feel disoriented? You know where you are?
I feel disoriented. The whole film.
Yes, I know you didn't.
I knew you weren't dead. And those Marta's hands.
Yeah, I did notice that actually, the birthmark on the dead body on the hand.
She volunteered.
Okay. It's all a big ploy for some reason. Is it to do with the company or something to do with Beau? To try and get Beau to go onto this journey.
For how much? Enough that every member of her extended family quit their job on the same day.
Ah, so she wasn't fully doing it just out of devotion. Has all of this been planned?
Your fictitious keys being stolen from your imaginary door.
Yeah, that was true. I was wondering if like Roger and Gracie, were they all employed by her as well? You know, is it all a test?
Or when you bought me that kitchen set, the very week after I publicly swore off cooking.
She's attributing
Even
maliciousness
when you were a baby, you rejected
to him being
me.
like a kid.
You think a mother can even help but see through her son's blatant lies?
From his perspective, it was all true, but also like how much of his reality is true because it's all been super exaggerated.
My own mother wouldn't even touch me.
Yeah, it's her own.
She blamed me for everything her mother did to her.
Yeah, it's passed on and passed on.
So, through the weaning process...
He was in on it the whole time, yeah.
How can you do this to me?
Because she hadn't planned him missing the flight and all of that as well, had she? It was like that was actually random that happened. It isn't all completely orchestrated by her.
He's braver. And he asks her about my father because I'm too scared.
Yeah, where is he?
Why did you lie to me?
Do you want the truth now?
Yeah, well, let's reveal it all.
Some things are for your protection, Beau, and I want you to remember that I kept this from you.
Okay. Is she actually trying to protect him somehow? Or is that just her interpretation of it?
I'll be right behind you. I'll be right behind you.
She's not going to lock him up there as well, is she?
That wasn't a dream. That was a memory.
Oh, yeah. There's a torch there, though. Yeah, there he is. Is that Harry? What's that sound effect? Sounds like an animal. The dad? It sounds like a monster though, more than a... What? Okay, Jenkins is there. So the dad has just fully absorbed and been consumed, or what? Okay, he can escape back down. Yeah, I was waiting for the reveal. It sounded monstrous and like animal-like. But what?
That was your father!
Has his father always been like that? Or was that him being like consumed from something and being turned into that?
You promised to never hurt me. Do you even remember that one?
The thing is, yeah, she's like insulting him. He's never done anything on purpose to hurt her, has he?
I do. I hate you.
Can he actually do it? Will he do it?
Mommy!
Oh, and now he's going to apologize.
I'm sorry.
Something taking over him. His face is pulling. There were other people there as well, though, like Jeremy and the maids and everyone. Now what though? Because he's achieved his goal. He's learnt the truth. Okay, into a cave. The end of Beau here. I think it's symbolism. Starting in a cave of sorts and ending in one. Or is it like you come up the other side and it's like a rebirth? His new self. Okay, he did make it through. Yeah, maybe that's it. Now he finally knows the truth. He can be reborn. Live his life fully. There's just one thing after another.
We are gathered now to assess the...
Some sort of test. Okay. I mean, what was he guilty of apart from the strangling there?
Human Baker that very night. Now one can see.
Oh, that was a person chasing him down.
Violent street crimes were everywhere on the news, and everyone was advised to avoid strangers.
Okay, he does have a defender, an attorney to defend him. What has the mum done to help people? She's got all of this money. What can he give? He's got nothing to give. We saw his apartment.
What are you doing?
Oh, that's very Ari Aster. Head being hit on a rock, jumping off something.
If the offer of driving tomorrow wasn't soon enough, and Beau chose to drive home tomorrow.
It was because of the all of the surgeries, wasn't it?
That the subject was panicked at the idea of returning home.
Oh, I wonder why.
My legs are stuck. What?
Oh, he's glued in.
Help me, please. Help, please.
The like hypocrisy of that. When it's talking about the homeless guy that chased him down, is just accepting it. Was ready to hold his breath there, it looked like. Oh, she's actually feeling bad now. I was thinking he was holding his breath, take his shoes off. Well, part of me was also being like transformed into a monster like his dad. Just ends there. I mean, I did think maybe it would because I saw the crowd leaving. I'm gonna let it play out just in case. Like drowning in your own anxiety, is that the symbolism? Okay, yeah, that really is just it. Okay, so that was Beau is Afraid. So it is, you know, intentionally provocative and out there. It is like a testament to Ari Aster and A24 that this film could even be made. Like, that's an achievement itself, that this is where A24 are in terms of a studio, and where Ari Aster is, where they have this confidence to just give him complete, total creative freedom. Now, did I like what he did with the total creative freedom? I'm still not sure. I feel like this is something you have to process and think about much more. I don't know how I would go about like ranking this in comparison to his other two films, because it is so completely different. You know, Midsummer and Hereditary, there was at least some similarities in terms of the horror, in terms of certain themes, in terms of even certain imagery. But with this, it is so far departed from Ari Aster's other work. Not that we have much other work to go off of for reference, it's only those two films. This is wholly unique, but sometimes is uniqueness always the best? So it's very obvious. I already knew going in. It deals a lot with the anxiety surrounding Beau, with Beau, his personal anxiety, and the way it manifests in the filmmaking, in the storytelling is really cool, especially towards the start, where it's like his home is his sanctuary. That shop was like a place he was familiar, was like really calm as well, and then there was like the outside world, which was all crazy, this kind of personification of his anxiety. I think that worked really well, and for the first like hour and a half it kind of plays it like that, and then we get into the forest and there is that kind of like dream animated stop motion sequence that's like half live action, half animated, half like a stage play. We go through that, and then he gets to the actual house and everything is revealed, and that the kind of plot twist reveal feels very much like other horror films that have plot twists in a way. I think there is still, you know, obvious interpretation of Beau and his anxiety there, but it kind of feels different in the second half. I really enjoyed the first half. Then the second half, the kind of reveal of the plot twist and how the plot twist is revealed, it feels like maybe even intentionally, probably is intentional, the kind of language of that and the way that twist is shown and revealed, it feels very much like other horror films. And I'm wondering if that is almost like a little bit of a commentary on the kind of plot twists of more modern horror films in a way. But then Ari puts his spin on it with the monster being a 12-foot cock and balls, you know? Yeah, I really liked the way, you know, Beau's anxiety manifested itself in the first half. But then when you get into the second half, it's stating all of these facts, but it's more like it could be a reveal that is actually true, but it probably is all still symbolism for Beau himself. Like at the end when they drown him, it's like him drowning in his own anxiety, and it's all about this anxiety he has with his mother, trying to impress his mother, what he thinks of his mother, trying not to let her down, and she's just like over exaggerating all of these small mistakes that he makes, you know. And it is almost like a little bit of a Truman Show reveal in a way, right at the end when they have all the screens and everything. It was like all a testing him. Obviously, I don't think that is, if there is even such thing as real world, that's not really what's happening. You know, the whole film, that there isn't really much you can say that is concrete that could actually be happening. Maybe, you know, him getting a phone call that his mum is dead, and then him worrying about that after, not paying attention crossing the road, getting hit by a car, going to his mum's old house, you know, that could all be true, but it could also not be. There could be nothing in here that is true. Well, it is cinema, so what is truth? It's all fictional anyway, isn't it? Most of it is this personification of anxiety mainly to do with the mother, but maybe also like sexual anxiety, him making this excuse. I don't know how much he believed the excuse, or if it was something he made himself. or this excuse for him being so old and being a virgin, and then him also thinking the world is out to get him. You know, the whole stuff with the people outside his apartment, then the reveal that Jeremy, his therapist, who is maybe even one of the people he is most close to, was actually using him. I don't think he was actually using him, but is showing Beau's anxiety that he was maybe being used by his therapist and he can't trust or open up to anyone at all, you know, not even his own therapist. Yeah, what it felt like was like the first half, we are seeing events that could be true, but also have this lens of Beau's anxiety over them. You know, there are weird things happening, but there is stuff that could be true. And I feel like by the end of the film, you are fully within Beau's anxiety and none of it is true, and we're all fully in Beau's anxiety itself. And I feel like I prefer the first half, and I think a lot of people will, because it's a little more grounded. And then the second half is much more of a deep dive into Beau's anxiety. And you definitely can't, you know, play it straight with what happens in the second half. I think if you go into this and you're not analysing it anymore and you're just thinking, that was actually the truth, that there is this giant penis monster and there is the brother and the mum is actually still alive, you know, and then it was all like a TV show. That's not what's actually going on here. That's just all symbolism for Beau's internal struggles. I feel like I was liking the ending. You know, it was Beau actually had some self-motivation. And he was like escaping everything. I was like, oh, is he? And I said about the symbolism of the rebirth. He's leaving and going past his anxiety. I quite liked that as the ending. If he just went off, maybe a bit more of a happy ending, and then, you know, it was all revealed, and it was like this court case almost with an attorney and someone defending him, and then they just let him drown. Drowning in your anxiety, that's quite a common term, so that's like the symbolism there, I am imagining. But yeah, I feel like I would have liked that more if it ended there rather than the full ending where it's much more pessimistic in a way. Or I don't know if you could call it pessimistic or optimistic. It's like saying don't succumb, don't drown to your own anxiety. I just think this is something I definitely need to sit with more. I can't say whether I liked it or not at this point. I definitely enjoyed the first half, but then when it starts to get even more extreme and even more out there, you know, it's great that Ari Aster has the freedom to be able to pull this off, but does he actually pull it off narratively wise? Does it benefit the narrative, or does it just alienate your audience? But you can't be too pandering to your audience as well. You know, it feels very much like a movie he has made for himself rather than for a grand audience, you know? And that sometimes is the best way to make art, to make it for yourself and let everyone come up with their own interpretations, even if they didn't enjoy it or if they do enjoy it, because maybe there will be someone who's going through something very similar and can really connect to this. I can definitely see exactly why this was so polarizing. You know, I knew it would be weird. I knew it would be out there going in, but I still wasn't really prepared for what had actually happened here. It must have been a few months ago now, on the A24 podcast, they had Ari Aster and Joaquin Phoenix on talking just about movies in general, talking a bit about Beau is Afraid. They never go into any spoilers, but I definitely want to give that a listen again now, just to get any more depth from there. Anything I was missing, having not have watched Beau is Afraid before listening to that, there probably is so much more there now on a second listen. I think I'm definitely going to give that another go. But I remember it also being a great listen just without, so I would definitely recommend that if you haven't listened to that and you're watching this video. I think my expectations of it were a little bit different as well, because I don't know if it was Ari Aster himself who compared it to Lord of the Rings. Someone had said it was like Lord of the Rings but with mummy issues. Very much mummy issues, a lot of Freudian stuff going on here. but they compared it because it was kind of Beau going from point A to point B. You know, there's a few movies where the plot is, when you break it down to its simplest form, it's go from the Shire to Mordor, throw the ring in the mountain, or like 1917, it's go from the start to the end and stop the attack. This is go from your apartment to the funeral. I thought this would focus much more on the journey along the way, but it wasn't really as focused on that, because even like Beau's motivation to get there, it wasn't like he was at the start of the movie like, okay, here I am, I'm going off, I'm gonna go get to my mum. It was like he was attacked, he was hit by the car, he was taken in by the family, all of that went to shit, he escaped there, and then he went into the forest, and then from there he went to the funeral after getting the hitchhiking. You know, it felt like the motivation and the focus on the actual narrative of him going from A to B was much less than I thought that it would be, really. That's not a detriment to the film or anything, that's just a difference between what my expectations were going in and what the final product actually was. Not a positive or a negative, really, just interesting to talk about, because it does kind of reveal Beau's motivation. You know, he does want to go there, but he has a lot of obstacles in the way, you know, when he's had his surgeries and he can't actually move. But also it felt like he was never, I mean, it's a funeral, you're not going to be excited to go, but he was never like super motivated to get there. He was motivated by like, what do you call it, where you're like negatively motivated. You're motivated because you don't want there to be a bad outcome, not because you actually want to do it. You know, he's motivated by not wanting to let everyone down at the funeral, which he does kind of in the end anyway. And that reveals a bit about his character, him not being like a protagonist. I'm forgetting the terms. The protagonist that moves the plot forward. It's like the plot happens to him, doesn't it? Rather than him being the one to constantly push the narrative forward. But I think that fits really well with the theming here, with the anxiety of Beau. This was much less horror focused than Ari Aster's other work, but there were still some elements in here, some deaths that were really gruesome. The paint one with Tony, that really got to me. Just, you know, I knew it was coming. She says, I'm going to drink the paint. I was like, okay. And then she does. And it's just like, there's so much paint and like the viscosity of it. There was just something really unsettling about it. And then, you know, she's there dead, her limp body, and like, the eyes were all bloodshot. It was really unsettling. And there were a few moments where I'm like, are these references Ari Aster is putting into his other films? Like with Grace saying you're a demon, that whole family dynamic felt a little bit hereditary there. And then we had Beau's defendant right at the end, his attorney, his defendant, whatever the terms are. He gets pushed off and hits his head on a rock, and there's very much like Midsummer with the old people jumping off, hitting their head on the rock, you know. And like, are those little references to Ari Aster's other work potentially? I think my favourite part of the film is that part with Robert and Grace and Tony in that house where he's like stuck there. You can tell things are slightly off, but there's also things that are making you more comfortable. And then like with Tony, yeah, there was something off. Gracie is trying to send him a message, and her name is Grace is because Robert called her Gracie a few points as like a pet name. So yeah, it was Grace. She was like trying to give him hints to something being wrong. And did she know something bigger then to do with like the security of everything, and the mum Mona like being there and looking over everything? Because he could fast forward that as well, and we did see a bit into the future, so we saw a bit more there. And then like Jenkins as well, Tony manipulating Jenkins. And like, was Tony a reference to Toni Collette as well from Hereditary? I feel like that probably is the case. But yeah, the movie does do a great job of personifying this anxiety with like Beau. He's very afraid of having maliciousness attributed to him where it wasn't. What's the saying? Never attribute maliciousness where it could be incompetence. And that feels like that applies a lot here, where he is worried people think he is doing something malicious when he's accidentally done something wrong. Like the mother blaming him for loads and loads of things, him being blamed for things in Tony's house as well, and he didn't really actually do anything. You know, like Grace leaving the message, don't incriminate yourself, where he didn't really do anything wrong at the house there, did he? He maybe could have offered his room up to Tony earlier, but he didn't even know Tony was there, you know? So I think that was like one of the main anxieties that manifested here. Then there was like the sexual anxiety, and then the anxiety just to do with his mother in general, but that also kind of applies to what I just said too. Then there was the whole thing with Elaine, and like Elaine dying, and like, was all of that set up by the mum? Of course. How much of that is actually true and actually happened, and how much of it is just a manifestation of his anxiety? I feel like most of the second half is just that, but also him coming to terms with a few things. Like, it felt like a bit of a revelation when he goes through that sequence with the play. There's that revelation that he was actually alive and the kids were alive too, and then with his dad, and realizing that there isn't actually this curse that when they finish they will die. And then that shows up again with Elaine when she dies from it. I don't know if there's any symbolism there. I was worried with the whole finishing thing. YouTube, I can't go full into detail here, that it'd be even more exaggerated because he had so much built up. I was like, is she just gonna fly off? you know, something crazy like that. The film's already crazy enough with the big monster reveal. I'm thinking a little bit to do, was his brother named Harry or was his dad named Harry? I'm not sure, because the mum said go feed Harry. It could be referring to either of them or neither of them. But we had this brother locked up away in the attic, and I am thinking about the symbolism of that a bit as well. Is that almost like a part of Beau that he has locked away himself? We see Beau, usually he's very shy, he's very timid, and there was his brother who was very brave and stood up to his mum and then got locked away. Is that like that side of his personality, that bravery a bit, that got locked away? His mother locked that away from him. It was locked away in the attic. Is that kind of the symbolism there? I'm imagining that's the case. He lost a part of him there when his mother like punished him for standing up for himself, and then he never did again. So I think that's everything. I've covered a lot here in the discussion. It feels like there probably is more you can dive even deeper on. I'd love to know your thoughts, your interpretations on some of these things. So make sure you leave a comment below of what you thought. Did you enjoy the film? Where would you rank it in Ari Aster's filmography? I really don't know at this point. For me, it's kind of Midsommar first, then Hereditary, then Beau is Afraid at this point. I don't know if Beau is Afraid could top them with a bit more time, a bit more thinking, maybe a rewatch. Do I want to rewatch even, maybe in a few years once I've given it a bit of time. It does feel like one of those films where you watch once and don't want to watch again, not even necessarily because it's bad, it was a whole experience that you don't want to have to go through again, you know what I mean? So I think that's everything. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, consider leaving a like, comment your thoughts as I've said, or even subscribe to the channel if you really loved it so you can keep up to date on all the future uploads. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.